Our next 3 programs on Catholic social teaching will be centered generally on the principles of option for the poor and solidarity, and specifically with refugees. Before our first panel shares the challenges that refugees experience in beginning their new lives in the United States, I don't think we could do better than begin our program today with some powerful excerpts from an interview that Pope Francis gave to an Italian journal on March 28, 2017. Sharing in brotherhood with other religions appeals to our consciences not to turn our backs on the hopes and the calls for help of our brothers and sisters in need. Migration, if handled with humanity, is an opportunity for everyone to meet and grow. The defense of human beings knows no barriers. We are all united in wanting to ensure a dignified life for every man, woman, and child who is forced to abandon his or her homeland. There is no difference or creed that can outweigh this wish. In fact, quite the contrary. It is precisely in these contexts that we can be brothers and sisters working together for good, the same good, every day. If the same unity were embraced by those who govern different countries, well then maybe we could take some concrete global steps in support of migrants and refugees. I set up the Migrant and Refugee section of the new dicastery for the promotion of integral human development starting January 1st, 2017. The multitude of migrants, refugees, displaced people, and victims of human trafficking requires particular care. That is why I decided to take care of them personally, at least for a while, and why the section reports to me directly. The section's main mission is supporting the church and its leaders at the local, regional, and international levels to accompany people through each step of the migration process, with particular attention to those who are forced in different ways to move or flee, or who experience disadvantages and suffering in countries of origin, transit, or destination. I am thinking of all those who flee from conflicts, persecutions, or humanitarian emergencies, whether natural or caused by human intervention. It is important to be aware of the contributions that migrants make to their countries of arrival. If we can view migrants as an added value to our society, then we will be able to practice real welcome and give what we have received in the past. We have a lot to learn from the past. It is important to act with awareness without feeding the fear of foreigners. On February 21st, I explained to participants at the Forum on Migration and Peace that we must promote welcome and hospitality toward refugees and all displaced people. Integration, which is neither assimilation nor incorporation, is a two-way process, essentially based on mutual recognition of another person's cultural worth. It is not the flattening of one culture against another, and neither is it mutual isolation, which carries the dangerous or even deadly risk of ghettoization. And as for those who arrive, who are responsible for not shutting themselves off from the culture and the traditions of their host country, and for respecting its laws first and foremost, we absolutely must not neglect the familiar aspects of integration. Hence, this is why I feel I must keep reiterating the need for policies which favor and prioritize family reunification. As for the Christian community, the peaceful integration of people from different cultures is in some way a reflection of its Catholicism. a unity which does not override ethnic or cultural diversity, constitutes a dimension of church life, which, in the Pentecostal spirit, is open to all, open to embracing everyone. Mass media should feel obligated to explain the different aspects of migration, schooling public opinion on the causes of this phenomenon, human rights violations, violent conflicts of social disorder, lack of essential goods, natural catastrophes, and catastrophes caused by humans. All these things should be clearly explained in order to support a real understanding of the migration phenomenon and consequently a correct approach. Thank you, Pope Francis. Your words inspire and challenge us. And now, Wasan, Basel, and Saeed will help us see these principles lived out right here in Fresno.
This is a foreign country for them. Language is a barrier for them. This is a huge obstacle that most refugees from the Middle East, especially from Syria, because they speak only one language, they go to school, the colleges only speak and learn Arabic, and the United States, it's a foreign country for them. How they can interact, communicate with doctors, with school teachers, with neighbors, with media, and we need to provide interpreters from their own countries, especially they understand this culture, because you need to make sure that you understand those people. They were surrounded with trauma a lot, so you need to be patient, good listener to them, comfort them, provide them with safety and love and peace, and open their eyes. This is a really nice privilege to you to be here in the United States, and now you need to start your new life here. The country will help you. Different organizations, non-profit organizations, religious groups, different faiths, professional people, individuals, they want to all help you and support you. But you need to make sure that when you provide those services, if you want to be in direct touch with them, just understand their culture. They're very traditional people. They very attached to their traditions, their language, their food, because of the news that they've been watching, the election, the Islamophobia. They've been displaced for many years in many places. And they've been investigated a lot through different groups. So just give them time. Always provide them with love, peace, and be all here for them. Very nice people here.
That answer, I don't know if everyone appreciates it as much as I do, because we just did a wonderful day at the university on the 10th of December, and Wasan was present there. We were able to gather people from all over the valley to share the issue of how to understand at depth the different refugee experiences, that they are not all the same at all, that every different country of origin and every different journey of a refugee after leaving or being excluded and being dismissed and being exiled from their country creates, as Wasan just said, a life of trauma. It's really important for us to be aware of the differences. And that's why We are wanting you to know there are resources to deal not only with those coming from Syria, but there are many people coming also from Central America, also from Africa, and they are coming with many different reasons, but basically displaced and basically having no other refuge but this place. And it's beautiful to hear, Wasan, not only that you make a plea that we would be able to hear and listen carefully to the refugee, but that you are working to get these doctors and educators, translators, involved in the process also. You're not standing by, you're committed to this. Now I'd like to ask Basel something about his own experience, but very briefly, Basel. You were only 12, so you were very young when you did have to leave Syria for the first time. Briefly, did you want to tell us from your point of view as a 12-year-old, is there anything you can share about that experience that you think you could share with us?
When I had to leave Syria, I was 12 years old. I was like so young. I don't understand anything what happened right now in Syria and what's going on. So everything, it was like a dream. I don't know what was happening. Then I left Syria. When I left Syria, I lived in Jordan. I used to live in Jordan 4 years, and these 4 years it was like sometimes it was good, sometimes it was some struggles. And then after these 4 years, we came to here. Now we're all here right now.
What has been for you the hardest thing? We had a long list of the difficulties that refugees experience when they come. Language, culture, food, acceptance, the American way. Was there one of those that was for you as a young 12, when you came here, 16-year-old, what was the hardest thing when you arrived, Basel, for you?
The only thing, it was the language. Until now, I learned all this English in this 5 months.
I am totally amazed at the experience of a young person being able, quickly, in little time, to have been able to learn enough English to survive the difficult curriculum at a school like Clovis West. It's like very promising for your ability to definitely do very well, not only having had a difficult transition from Syria to Jordan to the United States, but that you have actually found it a very good landing place. So happy for that.
Thank you.
Switching gears, Wasan, can you have Mr. Hababa maybe share what it was like being helped by Dominic Dizon and his family, what it was like, what energy of positive help did he and his family receive from the Dizon?
بدي أسألك شو تعلمت من تجربتك من ديزاين؟ كيف ساعدك؟
أنا لما جيت لأمريكا عندي فكرة عامة عن الشعب الأمريكي، إنه طيب وبيستقبل الناس، محب، ما عندهم عنصرية، ما عندهم تفرقة لأي سبب. كان هاي مجرد معلومات بعرفها. بعد ما جيت لهم واستقبلني الدكتور عنده في بيته، تأكدت إنه هذا الحقيقة صح، لأنه أنا عشت معه كأني أحد أفراد عائلته.
Wasan, up to there, what did Mr. Hababa say?
He said before he arrived to USA, he heard a lot about the American people, how nice they are, how they greet their guests, how they help people from outside countries, from different faiths. So he experienced that with Dr. Dizan family and with his children. Very loving family, very supportive. He felt with his wife and his daughter that he's part of this family. And it was very nice experience for him and for his wife and his daughter to be part of this very nice American family. They supported them for 6 months and they opened their doors for them. Very nice kids. They respected their culture, their religion, their practices. They both respected each other, shares different values. They learned from each other. And he learned a lot about Dr. Dizan family. Very nice family.
What happened after, we'll take our break right now, they're telling us, but when we come back, we'll have a little bit more about what happened perhaps afterwards to find out the continuing story of Mr. Hababa and his family. But we're going to take our break now, once again, listening to the words of Pope Francis and seeing the images that remind us of his plea that we as countries and as individuals would be in solidarity with our refugee brothers and sisters. Let us join Pope Francis's commitment to address this issue not only far away, but locally here in the Central Valley. Stay tuned for the Pope, and we'll be back in 1 minute.
¿Puede un país afrontar por sí solo las dificultades que produce la emigración forzada? Debemos pasar de la indiferencia y del miedo a la aceptación del otro. Porque ese otro podría ser tú o yo. Súmate conmigo en esta petición. Que los países que acogen a gran número de refugiados y desplazados sean apoyados en su esfuerzo de solidaridad.
Welcome to the second half of our program with Basel, Wasan, and Mr. Hababa about the refugee experience personal here in this country. We've had programs about people talking about working with or caring for or collecting funds for or going to a country to work for. But now we have 3 people who are actually here from other countries living with us as our brothers and sisters, and it's beautiful for me to share with you their experience. Where we left off, Saeed was telling us that he had had a very positive experience with his family, with Dr. Dizan and his family. Could you continue, Wasan, having Mr. Hababa tell us what happened after leaving the Dizan family after 6 months?
احكي له ايش عملت بعد ما رحت من عند ديزان.
بعد ما قعدت 6 أشهر عند الدكتور ديزاين غادرت وفي لقيت دكتور باكستاني، دكتور فاروقي، استقبلني عنده بيت، أعطاني البيت تبعه، طبعا بدون مقابل وبدون شيء. كانت تجربة تانية يعني مختلفة، إنه أنا أعتمد على نفسي أكثر في هالبيت الجديد يعني.
Wasan?
So the next step for him was another nice American family. He's a Pakistani doctor. His name is Dr. Farouqi. He has another house that was empty, and he offered this house. It's a huge house for Saeed family to live in. The beginning, we visited the house, me and my husband and other friends, and with Saeed family. It was an old house, so we decided as community members that get some help. Volunteers painted the house, clean it, and do the lawnmower, and find furniture from friends, from organizations. And they moved to the large house, and they felt very different. It was a good experience. They're independent now. They need to pay their own bills. They need to find jobs. And they need to start a new beginning. So it was a good transition for them. And he said that the community supported him at the beginning, and they still supporting him. And his wife started going to the college.
Wow. What is she studying?
She had a law degree from Aleppo. Very educative lady, and she decided that she needs to go to college and learn more English. Yep. So
I just have to say something about Aleppo and also something about a law degree. We sometimes have no grasp of the professional people that have had everything taken away. We just sometimes need to meet people like the Hababa family to understand, and the Kashak family. We had a lot, we had everything, we were doing very well. And then this war, this awful war that for us on the news is also awful just to know it's going on all these years without a settlement. And then to know Aleppo and to hear that, knowing the tragedy of that city, and then to know people have escaped from there, but without the language skills are beginning a hard, long journey, degrees not always being recognized, difficult transition, but congratulations to people like the Hababa family and the Kashak family that make assimilation possible by study, by doing all the hard work it takes to adapt, to learn new ways to live in a different country. And thanks to Wasan and people like the Pan Valley Institute for the events that they do and for the ministry that they share to make these things possible, that people can advance. And I'm just so glad that you and your family are now, as we say, much more independent and moving forward, even if it's a long journey towards this asylum seeking, which is turning out to be a long road. Any final thought, Wasan, about the Hababa family at all?
Their status still under investigation. They have a lawyer since they came here. So they still receiving letters that they need to wait, and hopefully they can get their, they can be officially refugees, and they can be American citizen one day.
Now let's bring it back to Basel, because we had a wonderful, I've met you twice in different settings. We had the gathering at the Islamic Center on that day of the march, that walk, and it was wonderful meeting you and your family. But then a few weeks later, you came to our church, the St. Paul Catholic Newman Center, and we were able to greet you and stand up and give a standing ovation for the family that was there in the front of our sanctuary after Mass. Then you were there sharing your food that your family had prepared for us. Can you tell us, Basel, anything you want about how it was that you felt being at the St. Paul Catholic Newman Center that day when you were there at the 9 o'clock and the 11 o'clock Mass with us at church?
It was the first time in my life I've been in the church, and I was standing in front of other people in the church with my family. So they was so happy because we are here. Everybody was like, "We are glad to see you here. We're glad to you are here." And I don't know.
That's. It was so wonderful being there with you to see the effort of the St. Paul Catholic Newman community, to see how we, in some way, can do what others have done to support your efforts. Did you want to say anything about the business that your family had and what it is that now you're trying to get going again here in this country? So beginning with back in Syria, what kind of business work had your family been involved in?
Okay, my family they had a factory for tahini. Everybody knows tahini, what it is. It's made from sesame seed, and we had like 2 shops, one for like sweets and one for cell phones. And now all that's gone right now, with the buildings, with the factory, with the shops, nothing. And we are here right now. We don't know. Maybe we'll open the same business here in America.
Wasan, I'd like you to help us. We have only a minute left. Tell us about how a person could be in touch and actually find out more about the resources that you have accumulated. There's a fantastic list of resources that are going to be posted on our website. They tell us everything about nonprofits, youth organizations, women's organizations, legal services, educational films, media and journalists, community organizers, campaigns, and other resources, translators. In a word, you've got like 30 seconds. What would you like to say to our people so that they support you in your work?
We have a website for American Friends Service Committee, and we have, you can call the office and ask for me or Myrna or any of my friends that they work there, and they can connect you to me, or then I can reach you out if you want to help with transportation or translation or medical help or donation, or tutoring the children, or tutoring the women, or the men. So we have a lot of different ways to reach out. Just call the office, and we will be happy to put you in the service that you want to be involved in.
I can't thank enough Mr. Hababa and Wasan Abu Bakr and Basel Kashak for being here today. We hope you will follow up with the resources that are there. And until next time, God bless.